Say Nigerians are poorer. It is true, Nigerians are poorer because there are less billionaires and less private jets. There are millions of farmers at present who are rich, very happy and looking forward to this program.
What are Abba Kyari's shortcomings? Is it for being loyal to President Buhari? Why are comments from some Nigerians unsympathetic, flooding the social media space? Has Kyari transgressed against over 200 million Nigerians while pledging his unalloyed loyalty to President Buhari, the Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces? It is important to remember that Abba Kyari was not elected but selected by the president. A loyal friend like Abba Kyari is certainly hard to find. On the day that Abba Kyari tested positive to coronavirus, some Nigerians made unholy wishes. Then the question arises, what did the man Abba Kyari do to offend millions of Nigerians? Here is an inexhaustible list of what Nigerians may have allegedly considered as the shortcomings of Malam Kyari. Kyari was alleged to have ordered the Asset Management Company of Nigeria, AMCON, to clear debts incurred by Seawolf Limited. Seawolf was said to have been indebted to First Bank Nigeria to the tune of 160 billion naira. When President Buhari was re-elected for a second term, allegedly, Malam Abba Kyari was said to have been auctioning each ministerial seat for 2.5 billion naira. And only those who could afford to pay the price gets a seat. In 2016, it was reported that Buhari was presented with evidence of 500 million naira bribe collected by his right-hand man from one of the largest telecommunications giants in Nigeria to bring down the amount fined on the company by the Nigeria Communications Commission. It was said that President Buhari put Mr. Kyari up for probe, but the probe was mysteriously quashed against the untouchable man of the moment at that time. Kyari reportedly appointed himself into the NNPC Board of Directors, also allegedly appointed his daughter as the Vice President of Nigeria's Sovereign Wealth Fund. This is to say that from his family comes the person in charge of the nation's agency that generated and saved income. The medical status of the brilliant lawyer who reportedly made the first class studying abroad was kept away from the public, whereas his medical report is in Wellington Hospital, London, where he was said to have gotten the best care in time past. The COVID-19 pandemic prevented the late Kyari to be properly managed. But the irony is that despite the huge budgetary allocations for the Aso Rock Clinic, it was nothing to write home about. Even the president did not take chances. Isn't it ridiculous to be presented with the reality that there is no state-of-the-art medical facilities at the seat of power? Little wonder, incisive conclusions have been drawn from his death. If the healthcare system in Nigeria can fail Kyari, isn't it a call to action to give hope to the common man and put an end to medical tourism and brain drain? Obviously, the best doctors around the globe happen to be from Nigeria. Why can't there be an indelible mark left by past and recent administration in revamping the healthcare system across the country? Kyari died in active service in a bid for Nigeria to have uninterrupted power supply. The hospital where Malam Kyari died was not made known to the public. The press statement issued by the presidency did not communicate the date of Kyari's death nor where he was. This kept many Nigerians speculating. Undoubtedly, Kyari was valued by his boss and greatly feared. He was the oracle that had to be consulted before actions were taken. In the third paragraph of the press statement dated 18th April 2020, it reads, Imo people will immortalize the late Kyari over the pivotal role he played in the emergence of the shared prosperity government in Imo State. End of quote. Opposition parties allege that the late Abba Kyari played a major role by working with the Supreme Court to declare somebody who came forth in an election as the winner. Call it a coincidence in a sad moment and you would not be wrong. Many have shared on social media what they describe as the first anniversary of the illegal removal of Justice Walter Onnoghen, the former Chief Justice of Nigeria. Walter Onnoghen was convicted and removed from office by the Code of Conduct Tribunal (CCT) on April 18, 2019. Justice Aliyu Umar, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, was the lead prosecutor for the federal government that procured ex parte order, and Abba Kyari as the Chief of Staff to the President, acting on the ex parte order, allegedly suspended Justice Onnoghen. Both Justice Aliyu Umar and Abba Kyari died on the 17th of April 2020. A tweet on social media space about the tight situation Malam Kyari put the ministry reads, Kyari stripped the Federal Ministry of Health of its powers to procure anything and transferred the authority to the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development. This meant that for 2 years, the Federal Ministry of Health had to write to the Ministry of Agri to get approval to purchase life-saving essentials for the health sector. What was more painful was when he refused to reverse the decision even after the exit of former Health Minister Adewale. Now that the chickens have come to roost, someone is saying don't speak ill of the dead. End of quotes. Babagana Kingibe is said to have been acting as Chief of Staff on Kyari's behalf before his eventual demise. He may be formally named to replace late Kyari. The question is, will Kingibe get same position in President Buhari's heart and fill the gap the same way that Abba Kyari did? In what can be described as an apparent move for the 2023 race for the nation's #1 seat, campaign posters, t-shirts and face caps with the inscription Abba Kyari for President 2023 have gone viral on social media. This perhaps could be the handiwork of mischief makers though. But the question that may never get answers will be, was Malam Kyari nursing an ambition to become Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces come 2023? A few social media comments gathered by Roots TV Nigeria read in quotes, Buhari always entrusts his faith to whoever he trusts, and Abba Kyari had his trust. Yes, he was loyal to the president, but the president is just one person out of the millions of Nigerians. Food for thought. Even PMB's wife, Aisha Buhari, said that her husband's administration has been hijacked by the cabal. Who was in charge then when the president was not in the country? For 6 months in Nigeria, one needs to take things with a pinch of salt and a bottle of Malta because behind the scene, so many obnoxious have happened. But who am I to judge? God knows the best, and only He will expose hidden things. May his soul rest in peace. End of quotes. Controversies have followed the burial of Kyari, with many expressing displeasure in their observations. They are: one of the persons who participated in the burial of Abba Kyari was seen removing his protective cloth after the burial and dumping it on the roadside. Question like, is the law in Nigeria only for the weak and the vulnerable? First, the lockdown rule was broken by flying Kyari from Abuja to Lagos. He was said to have been treated privately at the first cardiology in Ikoyi despite being positive, while other positive members were managed at the isolation center. His remains were flown back to the Federal Capital Territory (FCT) Abuja for burial. His body was released for burial, contrary to what the Minister of Information, Lai Mohammed, said that COVID-19 dead bodies cannot be released for burial. Visibly, over 100 people gathered for the burial, effectively breaking the federal government and FCT rules. A shallow grave was prepared for the body in the center of the town, Gudu Cemetery. Those present neither wore masks or any other personal protective equipment, especially the grave diggers. A man in green native attire without PPE even touched the body whilst helping the workers in PPE. Some workers in PPE were even seen touching their faces and goggles after touching the body, with some cloth visibly running the dead body under from their PPE as they lowered the body into the shallow grave. The body was buried in just white traditional robes. No protection, nothing for the people or the environment. No protection from possible thieves, scavengers who may want to come scavenge dead bodies in the middle of the night after burial. No accounting for or planning that everyone at the burial must self-isolate for 14 days after the burial. And others ask, how are they leading by example? How does the government make the rules and then break the rules on national television for all to see? That certainly exposes the good and bad of humans. Everyone will taste death, and whatever is hidden, good or bad, will come out to the praying eyes and ears of the public. Death should put an end to hatred, taking a cue from the holy books, the Quran and the Bible. Kyari sacrificed his life for Nigeria, and his name would never be erased from our history.